What's up, Bills Mafia? I got 5 bold predictions for the Buffalo Bills 2024 offseason. And guys, what would a Buffalo Bills offseason be without a little Stephon Diggs drama? But before we get to that, let's get to that intro.
This is PZ Music.
Welcome to the Mafia Sports Report. I am Tommy. Please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell because I always forget to tell you. Well, Bills Mafia, I got 5 bold predictions for the Buffalo Bills 2024 off season. And like I said, man, we got a little Stephon Diggs drama already building up, if you want to call it that. Listen, it's becoming the norm now, and he's not going anywhere. So I'll play this clip because you might want to hear it if you haven't already. Well, here we go.
For a year, how do you maybe corral the celebration of what you got with how the season ended for you guys?
I mean, we had a couple weeks to decompress, especially considering how the season ended. I had a conversation with a couple of my close friends and, my peers. And, of course, the season ended how we want it. Of course, some plays that I want back. Of course, I know it's plays we all want back, but more so interpersonally. Some more out there. You know what I'm saying? We can say it every year. Hopefully, you know what I'm saying? Hopefully wishing, you know what I'm saying, getting as far as we can. We got a lot of talent. But, as the season ended, of course, it's just some shit you want back, you know what I'm saying? And you want to go as far as you can. And, you know what I'm saying? It's just not a one person.
I know what he wants back. Oh, Stephon. I love Stephon Diggs. He's been our best receiver on this team for, since what? Stevie Johnson. But last year was a tough one when it comes to Stephon Diggs and the Buffalo Bills. We knew that going into the season with how the offseason played out. And when, my worry was going into last season was when things aren't going right, how would Stephon Diggs react? And I got to be honest with you. I thought he handled this season good. I really did, because I was concerned that Stephon Diggs would act out maybe on the sideline like he did following the 2022 season with Josh Allen, the whole incident with Josh Allen on the sideline. But I got to say, Stephon Diggs handled it like a professional. I thought he, was good on the sideline as far as just motivating his teammates at times. So I had no problem with how Stephon Diggs handled himself on the field this year. And once again, I got to tell you, Stephon Diggs brings it every game. However, that being said, I don't believe his heart was in it. Meaning, I don't believe he loves being a Buffalo Bill anymore. And that's okay. It is what it is. You don't have to, love something to be good at it, right? Let me take that back. You don't have to love the team you're on to play good, right? It is what it is. Pick up basketball, right? You may not like your teammates when you're picked up, but you're going to give it your all, right? And, I feel like that's where he is right now. I feel like when we got him in 2020 and 2021, even 2022, that season before the end of the season, you could see that interaction he had with Josh. You could see the interaction, and I'm talking about it just seemed like there was more love there, right? Passion. And that's another passion, right? I just didn't feel it this year from Stephon Diggs. Now, I could be totally wrong. On that. And maybe some of you guys are going to call me out and be like, oh, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. How the fuck do you know, his heart isn't, in Buffalo, or his passion wasn't there? I'm just going by with what I saw my opinion. Okay, everyone has an opinion, and once again, we don't know really what's going on, but I could tell you some things, man. Like, when we continue to watch this, the thing, sometimes, what you don't say is just as important as what you say. And Stephon Diggs is an example of that. And I'll continue to go here.
Versus sport, you know what I'm saying? Of course, you want everything and you want the glory, all that type of good stuff, but you know what I'm saying, that day we came up a little short.
You say there's obviously stuff you want back.
Yeah.
The year seemed a little odd for you. You know, you weren't
Exactly.
getting a lot of touches at
Yeah.
some part of the season, and then obviously the last game a little rough. You know, had maybe a drop. I don't know if you count that as a
That's
drop.
what I said. That's one of the plays I actually want back. I count all the plays. If I touch it, I drop it. You know what I'm saying? If I get one hand or the finger on it, I still count it. That's why I like, mainly I'm always accountable first. You know what I'm saying? As a player, y'all know me for a long time. Of course, like, and even just this season, it's in its total, like the balance of it, you know what I'm saying, rolling with the punches, the first 8 games and the last 8 games or 9 games or 10 games, however you dice it, it was a different picture, you know what I'm saying? It's something I had.
Now, that there speaks volumes. Like, he definitely wasn't happy with how the second half of the season went. Even though the Buffalo Bills were winning after basically saying after Ken Dorsey left that, even though we were winning, his production, he wasn't happy with his production. Like, even though things didn't go great with him, you know what I mean? Like, he's telling you something here, basically, without telling you it. You know what I mean? Without really explaining, but I can explain it to you. Listen, he was not happy with the playbook or he wasn't happy with the plays Joe Brady was calling towards the end of the season, because he felt like he should have been more involved in the offense. Joe Brady, when he came aboard, I felt like Joe Brady really tried to get everyone else involved. And I think at the end of the day, it was less targets for Stephon Diggs. And I feel like, Stephon Diggs wasn't happy about that. And you can kind of see it here.
To get adjusted to, as a teammate, just rolling with the punches, being the best team.
See, like he had to adjust to it. He had to roll with the punches. Like, you guys got to read between the lines here. Like, clearly he wasn't happy with his role after Ken Dorsey left. But the problem is our offense was stuck in the mud. Now, Stephon Diggs' numbers were good, right? And by the way, I think he had the most receptions in his career this year. So even with that being said, he still finished the season with a high amount of receptions, best of his career. Still was over 1,000-yard receiver. So it wasn't like, he was not being used, or not, Josh was not throwing him the ball, or the offense play caller was not getting him involved. Like, it just was the way it went in the second half of the season that Joe Brady, not even second half of the season, I would say more so, the final, 6 games. So, yeah, I just kind of feel like Joe Brady wanted to open it up more, open up the playbook more as far as getting other people involved. And I think I kind of feel like Stephon Diggs wasn't truly happy about that. And it was something that he had to adjust to. And yeah, man, we'll see how he feels going to next season. Guys, he ain't going nowhere, but let's continue this.
Image you could be, best player you could be, and keep growing from it. So
I know obviously a lot of people outside of the building want to speculate on you and Josh's relationship. What does that mean? How would you describe where you guys are and moving forward, given what you just discussed?
Yeah, I mean, I've kind of touched on that multiple times, you know what I'm saying? I kind of like, at this point where I am, I kind of let everybody feel how they feel, you know what I'm saying? If you got your opinion, it's not an opinion-based business, it's a money-based business and a number-based business. So for me, I try to leave the personal out of it, you know what I'm saying? My personal relationship is my personal relationship. It's for the people outside of a relationship to kind of speculate or kind of like draw conclusions or kind of figure it out as they go. But people that's involved in between the two people or anybody else involved are the people that know. So for me, I get tired of the same story over and over. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
But it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? For everybody else, it's a new offseason for you to play around with.
You talk about all season. Last one for me.
I still don't like. Remember when I told you guys, like, sometimes what you don't say is just as important as what you say. And I just don't understand why. I mean, I get that I understand like he's being bombarded with these kind of questions, right? And it's usually the same, like, or how are you and Josh? Are you and Josh like, not seeing eye to eye? Are you guys like miles apart or, whatever, right? And he's never really truly answered that question. Now, I think he might have, and I think this past year when he had his conference before the season, he might have said, everything is fine, but it just didn't. I have to go back. I got to be honest with you guys because I don't want to quote this, but I don't believe he was like totally saying, "Man, we are good." Like, I could be wrong. I got to go back, but why not right here? I'm just saying, like, why is it? Even if you're sick of the question, just saying, even if you're tired of being asked that, why would you still not answer it and just say, I'm going to leave it to everyone else to decide what they want to, think? I don't like why. How hard is it for you just to say, nah, man, Josh is my guy? Like, I don't get it. Like, I guess, listen, I understand everyone's different. Everyone's different on how they handle questions or whatever, how they handle just life in general. But I just don't understand, like, why you wouldn't just say, we're good. Like, it's simple as that, because I don't think the reporter would have been doubling down on the question. Like, once he said that, I'm sure the reporter would have moved on to the next question, which he did. But for me, it's like Stephon Diggs leaves that book open when he doesn't address it, when he just says, y'all can, draw your own conclusions. You know what I mean? I already spoke my piece. It's just weird to me. And listen, once again, I don't think they have a problem. I don't. I think him and Josh are cool and everything, but I don't think they're as cool as they once were, if that makes any sense. But yeah,
there's always going to be talk about what is next.
Yeah.
Obviously, contract becomes a thing, and you guys' cap situation. Where do you think you'll be? Do you think you'll be a Bill next season?
I don't know. Like, I mean, I feel like as far as like with the money and all that type of stuff, like I can't control none of that. You know what I'm saying? I kind of put my hat on, and you know what I'm saying. Like I said, it's a long off season in front of me. As far as like with the future, I don't have any surprises for you right now. But for me, I'm gonna still beat me regardless.
Appreciate you, Steph.
So once again, he's just kind of working around the question there. He understands that because of his contract, it's one of those things that the Buffalo Bills aren't eating $30 million. That would be a $30 million cap hit. They aren't. He'd have to literally redo his contract for them to be able to trade him to make it work. And I can't see it happening. So, and I think he understands this. So I'll say what I said in the beginning of this video. Stephon Diggs is going, like, next year, he's going to be a Bill. And when the season starts, I expect Stephon Diggs to bring it like he brings it every game. But I don't believe his heart is in it, like, for this team. I believe that the love for the Buffalo Bills has come and gone. And he could leave tomorrow, right? There's some way out. And, I don't think he would really care. Like, and I think at this point, as a fan, I'd be good with it too. I would. And it sucks saying that because he's been so good for the Buffalo Bills. But at the same time, you're not happy and you want out and there's a way out. And then, yeah, I'm good. Like, go do you. You know what I mean? Go be somewhere where you feel like you're going to be happy. But I got to say, too, sometimes, you may go somewhere else and you may think you're going to be happy in another place, and it may be even a worse situation. So be careful what you wish for, because you might wind up in a worse situation where you're kicking yourself wanting to go back and it would be too late. So Do I think he's going to go? No, because I just don't see a way out right now out of his contract for the Bills. And he's just going to have to, do what he's doing and play his best on Sundays and Mondays and Thursdays and Saturday, whatever day we're playing. But yeah, the love, the passion for the Bills at least is gone. Passion for football is there, by the way. Like that's what, that won't change. His passion for the game, his work ethic, that's not going anywhere. But the love, right, for the Buffalo Bills, the passion for this team is gone, in my opinion. And I'll be honest with you, in a way, I don't blame him. It is, I go back to Sean McDermott again, and I'm not going to do a Sean McDermott video, but I truly believe he doesn't believe in him anymore. Like Stephon Diggs does not believe in McDermott as the head coach, as a coach that will lead the Buffalo Bills to a Super Bowl. And it's beginning. I feel like Stephon Diggs is looking at the situation as, I'm getting paid. It's just going to be another year. Same results. It is what it is. I'm stuck, but I'll continue to rack up my numbers, right? I'll continue to do my thing on the football field, but I'm not expecting much at the end of the day. And I'm expecting the same results because I don't trust the leadership under Sean McDermott. Now, could that change? Now, listen, winning cures everything, but it's the playoffs, guys. It's not, Sean, listen, this team's going to get to the playoffs. This team's probably going to win another AFC East, right? No problem. It's the playoffs is where we get stuck. It's the playoffs where Sean McDermott crumbles and folds. It just disappears. And that's, I think, the frustration with Stephon Diggs. And, of course, obviously, the offense, where it's going now, and maybe a new direction where we're trying to spread the ball around more. We're trying to run the ball more. So it might be less Stephon Diggs, and maybe Stephon Diggs just wants to always be the man, be the guy like he was in 2020 and 2021 and 2022. But this offense may change, under Joe Brady's, now that Joe Brady is going to have a whole offseason to implement his own offense. We'll see. We'll see. But either way, guys, I feel like he's here to stay. And you can say what you want, but he ain't going anywhere. All right, let's get to this article, 5 bold predictions. Once again, shout out to Bills Wire for creating this article. All right, first one, Brandon Beane moves up in first round to draft a wide receiver. Bills GM Brandon Beane actively collects draft capital when possible, frequently packaging picks to move up to get players when necessary. He's done so masterfully at times in the past to acquire talent, from quarterback Josh Allen to last year's big addition to the Bills' passing game, receiving tight end Dalton Kincaid. One position he has not selected during the first round is wide receiver. However, the GM did view his trading of a pick package that included the team's first rounder in 2020 for wide receiver Stephon Diggs as the equivalent of drafting one. Could we see a similar package built around the Bills' 28th overall selection to move up to take a premium talent at receiver? The past couple of off seasons, there has been buzz around the team drafting a wide receiver too, threat in the passing game to take the tops off defenses while preventing them from being able to double team Diggs. While Gabe Davis has been serviceable in the role and made his fair share of big plays as a consistent contributor, Buffalo still needs that addition to its receiving corps, both in terms of playmaking talent as well as the talent being cost controlled. Taking upgrades as other key offense positions in earlier rounds of the draft has paid off hugely in recent drafts for Buffalo, and Beane and the front office needs to add talent to the receiver group while creating cap space. Plus, with Joe Brady having the interim stage lifted to officially become the Bills' offense coordinator, adding a receiver talent across from Diggs to open up holes in the offseason opening holes in the defense, along with receiving back James Cook and receiving tight end Dalton Kincaid could open up the type of success Brady had at LSU with receivers Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson and running back Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Considering the cost of veterans receivers versus drafting an impact talent on a rookie deal with a 5-year option, the team has a chance to address a key area for the Bills that could further unlock the offense and postseason success for the next 5 years. Yeah, I think it's time. I really do. I think it's time that the Buffalo Bills get themselves a receiver early on in this draft. Round 1, is it possible? It is. But you could do it a couple ways. I know he said he wasn't going to be a big spender in the offseason. Obviously, the cap, you guys know where we're sitting at the cap, minus 45 in the hole. But he's going to clear up space. That's what he does. He's a good GM that way. He's always made moves in the offseason, regardless of what he said. Though, last season, he made, as far as free agents coming in that weren't Buffalo Bills players that we extended, there was a lot of 1-year deals. I think there was 2 deals that were only past 1 year, and that was Hardy at 2 years and McGovern at 3. Other than that, everybody was at 1 year because we were tight in cap. But he did get the Ed Oliver deal done before the season started. And I think there was another deal as well. So, he brought back Jordan Poyer. So for 2 years, I believe that was. So, but everybody else was a year. Trent Sherfield. Who else was a year? David Edwards. There was other people too. Latavius Murray. So, guys, once again, will Bean create enough cap to go after a key free agent? I don't know. Now, he could, and there is some free agents on offense that I would love to see in Buffalo. Wide receiver Mike Evans would be unbelievable in Buffalo, in my opinion. A bigger receiver, like Evans with some speed, aggressive. I would love him in Buffalo, and I think he would fit in this system. And him and Josh would just be dynamic together. And with Stephon Diggs, obviously. Also, Derrick Henry. I think he's the 3rd or 4th best free agent running back. And the reason that intrigues me so much is because running backs aren't getting paid what they used to. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, you can't afford Derrick Henry. Yeah, I think we could because of his age. And I don't think a team is going to be willing to sign Derrick Henry to a long-term deal. I think wherever you see Derrick Henry signing, you're going to see like a 2 to 3 year deal, probably a 3-year deal. That's really 2 years, and a team will be willing to, able to get out by the 3rd year, something like that. I don't see it anything like 4, 5, 6 year crazy amount. And that being said, his age as well, and he's not the best free agent running back on the market right now. I think that contract would be something that the Buffalo Bills probably could afford, depending on how much space they clear up. Mike Evans, maybe not so much. He might be looking for some big time money, considering he's one of the better wide receiver free agents on the market, and their money goes is a lot bit bigger as far as contract wise than a running back right now. They're valued a lot higher. So the chances of Mike Evans is slim. Could it happen? Sure, it could happen. Anything's possible. Y'all thought we couldn't, 2 years ago in 2022, get Von Miller. And we did, right? If you remember that offseason, Brandon Beane came out with his, end of year press conference and said, look, we're not, the end of 2021 season. He said, look, we're not going to be big spenders. Same thing he said this year. And he winds up spending big money on Von Miller to get him into Buffalo. So, anything can happen. If you want a player, there's ways to get it. There are ways to get the deal done. So that's another option. Or, like the article said, you go through the draft, you draft early a receiver, you have him locked up pretty much for 5 years on a rookie deal. That's probably the best way to go, but you got to get it right. You got to get the draft pick right. As you guys know, some of these picks don't work out. So if Brandon Beane's going that route, you better get it right, especially if he trades up in the draft to go after that receiver that he wants. It better be right. All right, next up. Gabe Davis resigns with Buffalo. Oh, my gosh. With Davis' contract up and a desire to test free agency and see what his market is, combined with the Bills' need for a salary cap-friendly addition to further upgrade the receiver group, one might deduce Davis would find the type of contract he's looking for with another team. And he may do just that. But like Bills safety Jordan Poyer last year, Davis also may not see that market materialize. Just as the depth of this at the safety position in the 2023 NFL draft kept last year's free agent market humble for defensive backs. So this year's class does for receivers. That's actually a good point. Not only is it a deep draft at that position, but free agency is robust in that area as well in terms of receiver options. The talent is headlined by players like T. Higgins, Michael Pittman Jr., Marquise Brown, Calvin Ridley. Of course, they're forgetting Mike Evans, but it's all right. PFF ranks Davis 7th amongst free agents receivers. His shortcomings could keep his market honest, as teams have the option for drafting a receiver of similar abilities at a lower cost in the draft. He could take more money to play for a team that doesn't give him as good of a shot at winning in the postseason, or catch on with a contending team as a second or third option in the passing game on a similar contract to the one he just played out. With all that in consideration, his best option could be to resign with Buffalo if a pact can be reached. I don't think it's going to happen. I really don't. I truly believe Gabe Davis is going to test. I know he is going to test the market, and I do believe that he'll find himself a team that will give him a decent offer, and I don't think Brandon Beane's going to match it. I just don't. I think he was a good player here in Buffalo. I really do. I think he was a 4th round pick. For a 4th round pick, guys, he did good. You can't knock him for what he did here as a 4th round pick. But is he a true number 2? At this point, I got to say no. I thought he would be. I really thought this year, being a contract year, Gabe Davis was going to really step up his game because he wanted to get paid. Right, and that's what players do on their final deal of their rookie contracts. They bust their ass. They play their best. Look at AJ Epinesa. AJ Epinesa is going to go get paid, no doubt about it. And it ain't going to be in Buffalo, but he's going to get paid, and he earned it. Now, Gabe Davis didn't have an awful season, but he didn't have a great one either. But I do believe that there's going to be a team out there, like I said, that's going to see the upside of Gabe Davis. They're going to see his numbers have been pretty consistent over the last 2 years, over 800 yards receiving over the last 2 years. He is a deep threat, target, a deep threat, player, right? So yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens with Gabe, but I don't believe he will be back in Buffalo. All right, next up, the Bills will create cap space. Brandon Beane taking creative approach towards reworking contracts to create cap space, such as converting salary to signing bonus, is nothing new. Just as the Bills finding ways to create cap space is not in and of itself bold. Who that cap space might come from, however, is a different story. Per Spot Track, the 5 biggest cap hits next season are Josh Allen, $47 million. Stephon Diggs, $27 million, almost 28. Von Miller, $23 million, almost 24. Deion Dawkins, 16, almost 17. Trey White, 16, almost 17. Big money, guys. Big money there. White and Miller both missed substantial time due to injury this past season, and the latter was not effective to his return. The latter was not effective in his return to play. Allen's deal has flexibility in it to create space if and when needed to improve the team. Diggs and Dawkins both restructured before the 2023 season to create cap space as well. Suffice it to say, some of the team's biggest leaders may step up to help the Bills' cap situation. So I definitely see Josh Allen's deal getting worked out there, to save the Bills some money. I do see, I believe they could do Deion Dawkins as well. Again, I have a feeling they're going to cut Trey White. That will save them a lot of money. They could redo Mitch Morse as well, his contract. There's a way, I forget how they were going to do that one. I think it was maybe a signing bonus or something like that. But there's ways around it. They could also cut Nyheim Hines. Just by cutting Nyheim Hines and Hardy, those two players, because Hardy still has a 1-year deal left, I think it's like $9 million in savings right there. So there's a way around it. And obviously Brandon Beane is going to have to do a lot of work here to create that cap space. But he's done it before. He'll do it again. I'm not concerned, guys. So next up, Beane will bolster the defense. GM Brandon Beane and the Bills front office will also look to this year's NFL draft and free agency for cap-friendly contracts that allow the team to continue to compete. Last offseason, the GM set out to fortify the offensive line to protect Josh Allen. He did that and more, adding the offensive weapon tight end Dalton Kincaid and starting offensive lineman Osiris Torrance. Could he do the same this offseason with the Bills' defense? The Bills' defense and special teams have struggled at times to protect the leads the offense has given them late in games. Meanwhile, the team those two phases have struggled to stop most visibly in high-profile games. The Chiefs rode a strong defense to another Super Bowl appearance this year, despite the weakest offensive group since Patrick Mahomes became their quarterback. With potentially 10 draft picks to work with, should Buffalo be awarded a compensatory third-round selection from linebacker Tremaine Edmonds leaving in free agency, as well as future picks to work with, we may see some of Beane's craftiest work using assets to move up the draft rounds to acquire talent. The Bills' defense figures to be a top area where the fortifying could play dividends, just as was the case for the offense last year. Yeah, man. Listen, Brandon Beane has his plate full this offseason. No doubt about it. We have a ton of free agents. We're losing a ton of defenders. A lot of defense guys on the line. A guy I would love to have back, Daquan Jones, is a free agent. Will they work out a deal for Daquan to stay back, or would Daquan want to test the free agency? He had a really good season up until he got hurt. He's a hell of a player. I would, like I said, love to have him back, but what would the cost be? We're losing Leonard Floyd, who had over 10 sacks. He already came out and said he would like to play for Buffalo again, but he also wants to get paid. Probably not going to happen here. Not in Buffalo. Right now we got Ed Oliver, Gregory Rousseau, Von Miller. I mean, we need help. Like, Jordan Phillips is going to probably retire. He's already hinted at it. Shaq Lawson's a free agent. Maybe he comes back on a 1-year deal. I could possibly see that happening, 1-year deal again for Shaq Lawson. AJ Epinesa is gone, as you guys know. He's a free agent. More than likely, he's not going to re-sign with the Buffalo Bills. And then Micah Hyde is going to retire. Safety position. I mean, Trey White may be released. There's a lot of holes that need to be filled for this defense going into the 2024 season. So Brandon Beane has a lot of work to do. We have 10 draft picks to do it, and obviously NFL free agency. So we'll see what he gets, what he does, who he brings in, who he brings back. But man, I want to be in his shoes right about now, man. That's rough. All right, last one. No Diggs drama. Oh, yeah, it's already started. Buffalo's wide receiver 1 has endured media scrutiny and the press supremacing their own stories and narratives on him at times since his final seasons with Minnesota. Since being traded to the Bills, Diggs has been transparent and direct in the press sessions, not leaving much to the imagination as he's answered questions and addressed topics directly throughout his tenure. Nonetheless, speculation about what Diggs is thinking about a balance this time of year has members of the press craft opinionated narratives around the receiver. Based on what he has communicated, however, the narratives are not to be believed. He has even remarked about how these things affect players' relationship with and trust of the press. Diggs' contract alone should put to bed any outside chatter this offseason, as should his communication about being a Bills these past few seasons. While just like the rest of his teammates, he's likely just unhappy about the division round playoff loss. He also missed a big catch that could have been a game changer. The Bills' wide receiver one is just that for the foreseeable future. And it would be fair to expect the offseason to be one of reflection on how they can improve on the field, not off the field, drama or external noise. I totally get that. Like, I understand that. However, like I said, it's like it's an odd thing when it comes to Stephon Diggs and what he wants to how he wants to be moving forward with the Buffalo Bills. Does he want to be just a guy that's just going to be out there, doing his thing, but but yet unhappy, not wanting to be a Buffalo Bill? Or is he going to eventually just, get with Josh again in this offseason, get right, get with McDermott, get with Joe Brady, earn trust, earn that passion and love back with the Buffalo Bills in return for the 2024 season, maybe a different mindset of how things are going to be in 2024. I don't know. But I could just, like I said, I could tell you from that comment that he had with the reporter that if he got traded tomorrow, I don't think he would be upset. But it's not possible. Like that article said, and like we already all know, there's no way out. Unless somehow he, works a deal out with the Buffalo Bills on his contract. I can't see him going anywhere, guys. So hopefully, like I said, maybe Stephon Diggs gets that love and passion back for the Buffalo Bills. But once again, we all know what that takes, and that takes winning, and it really takes winning in the playoffs, and it's gonna. We got to get to a Super Bowl, guys. And I don't. At this point, with Sean McDermott as head coach, I fear that it's not going to happen. Though I'll pray that it does, because I don't think Sean McDermott's going anywhere anytime soon. But let's just hope guys like Joe Brady, Bobby Babich, can, because as you guys know, Bobby Babich is now the defensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. Now, what will Sean McDermott's role be with Bobby Babich calling plays? We'll find out, right? How much say will Sean McDermott have in this defense? Will he chime in a lot more than or will he actually let Bobby Babich do his thing on defense? We'll find out in 2024. As far as the offense goes, same thing. Will Sean McDermott, chime in like he did with Dable and Ken Dorsey and wanted things done his way? We'll see. But if I really believe if he doesn't, and those two guys can, do their thing, do it right. Joe Brady can get his own playbook going, get his own offense going, and get this team to believe in him, which I believe they listen. If you see how that season ended, other than Stephon Diggs, I don't know if Stephon Diggs and Joe Brady yet are on the same page. I just, from that interview, it just seems like Stephon Diggs wasn't feeling it because he was less involved in the offense. Now, once again, though, I go back to it. That wasn't Joe Brady's offense. That was a Ken Dorsey / Brian Dable offense that he inherited, and he had to use it best to his ability. Now that Joe Brady will have an offseason, maybe he incorporates Stephon Diggs a lot more into the offensive game plan, and maybe Stephon Diggs will start to really love the offense a lot more and what Joe Brady's vision is. And hopefully the defense, my God, especially in the playoffs under Bobby Babich, maybe it's a different story than it is with Sean McDermott. But we'll see, guys. It's going to be a long offseason. Super Bowl is a week away, and I will be going live for the Super Bowl. I'll be doing a watch along. You guys are more than welcome to join me. It sucks that we're not there. I really truly believe if we beat the Chiefs, which, man, we could have beat. Guys, we really could have beat the Chiefs. It's just that's the most disappointing things. We all, the stats wise, like time of possession. I mean, I can go over that game over and over, but we didn't. At the end of the day, we didn't get the job done. But I truly believe if we did, I think we would have beat Baltimore, and I think we would have been in the Super Bowl. But we're not. We're here. Woulda, coulda, shoulda doesn't mean shit. So, guys, I appreciate you guys watching me once again. And I'll be, doing more videos throughout the week. And look for Tommy Caputo Show live every Monday and Saturday at 10 p.m. That should debut in about a month or two. I'm just setting everything up, getting prepared for that. So once again, thank you so much, Bills Mafia. I love you. And as always, go Bills. I'm out of here. Peace.